Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Patriots Real Time Podcast. I'm your host, Theo Dees. Now, today we are doing another solo show. Today we're still talking about the head coach, who the head coach of the New England Patriots is going to be. Will it be Ben Johnson? Will it be Mike Vrabel? Will it be Byron Leftwich? Will it be Pep Hamilton? All the guys that they have interviewed. We'll talk about how the Lions defensive coordinator, Aaron Glenn, declined the interview with the Patriots. I said that he was one of my top candidates. Obviously, he will not be getting the head coaching job for your New England Patriots as he declined the interview, like I just said. We'll talk about some all-pro things, Brendan Schooler, Christian Gonzalez. We'll just talk about the head coach search, when I think they'll be hired. And then me and Austin, we will be back probably, most likely, I don't really know, with a podcast talking about the next head coach. And if not, it'll be me. So it'll just be me talking about the next head coach. Maybe we'll get the news while I'm recording, and that'll be a pretty fun podcast. But if not, let's talk about some head coaching candidates, and let's get into it. All right, starting off, I want to talk about some comments that were made about Jerod Mayo and how the ship was going down with Jerod Mayo. Not my words, but yeah, I kind of want to talk about that. Some articles that have come out about what was really going on behind the scenes. I'll also get into Jerod Mayo's response, which wasn't really his response, but it was his wife's response. I believe her name is Chantel. But we'll get into their response, or her response, because it wasn't really Mayo, but you never know in a minute. But let's get into some of the things that were said about Mayo. This is off the top of the head. But there were a few rumors going around that after the Arizona game, and if you don't remember the Arizona game, it was a brutal loss. I think it was 31-14, something like that. Instead of going in the back of the plane or wherever the plane was, maybe the front of the plane, with the rest of the coaches and watching film, talking about the game, how they just got embarrassed by a team that didn't even make the playoffs, finished third in their division. Mayo went to the back of the plane, the front of the plane, whatever, it doesn't matter, to play cards with guys on the team. That's embarrassing. He seemed, the article, I don't believe, or I don't know if this is 100% true, but he might have been happy, he might not have looked terrible, although there were conflicting reports with that saying that when the team lost, it looked like his dog had died, and when the team won, it was like the greatest thing ever. Staying with reports about Mayo, there were other reports talking about how when the team won against Cincinnati week 1, a lot of the coaches were saying, wow, we really got lucky here. If you don't remember that game, Ramondre Stevenson rushed for about 115 yards, 108 yards, I don't really remember. Like 104 of those yards came after contact. He was bouncing off tackles. He never had a game just as good as that. And they got lucky with turnovers. If you don't remember, the tight end or the receiver, I don't remember exactly who it was, reaching the ball out right before the goal line. And I believe it was Duggar was able to knock the ball out. Marcus Jones picked it up, ran it back to about the 25. So Mayo never really acknowledged how lucky they got in those games. And people were unsure if he watched the film from that week. He was so excited. And then against Seattle, they kind of faded down the stretch, and since then, they were never the same team. All right. So, yeah. So those were the rumors going around. Those all look bad. I want to talk about those. They look bad on Jerod Mayo. It shows that he was very inexperienced. I wrote a post about that. I might read that today, but it shows that he was very inexperienced. He was not ready for the job. If he's going to go out there and not watch film from a week, which is not confirmed, all this is rumors, but it's implied kind of that he didn't watch film from any week of the season is ridiculous. If you want to be an NFL head coach, you have to watch an absurd amount of film. Honestly, just a coach. You talk about Danny Amendola, a guy who's now on Dancing with the Stars. The Raiders, I believe, was like punt specialist, special teams coach last year, assistant. He was saying how long the hours were. He was grinding the film. He was talking about Brendan Schooler on Games with Names. And I'm sure Jerod Mayo did not know who the Brendan Schooler. Obviously, Brendan Schooler is an all-pro, so he's probably the best special teamer in the game. So, Danny Amendola knows who he is. But the Brendan Schooler of let's call it the Seattle Seahawks. He doesn't. Let's say Jerod Mayo probably doesn't know who the Holy shit. Okay, Jerod Mayo probably didn't know the Brendan Schooler of the Seattle Seahawks, the Brendan Schooler of the New York Jets, the Matthew Slager-esque guys who maybe like the Cody Davises, whatever you want to call it. But the special team guys, he probably didn't know who they were because, once again, he was not watching film. Or it was reported that he probably wasn't watching film from that week 1 win. I do not want to just go out here and say that he didn't watch film because we don't know that. But if he didn't do it once, he could have done it multiple times. Let's get to the comments now that Jerod Mayo's wife made on her Instagram story. It was like Miss Mayo, that's her name. So this is two different stories, but I'll read them at the same time, or I won't. But anyways, it never crossed our minds to tell the truth. ... But I couldn't even fathom all the lies we've read that are being told to save face. What happened to the class? Like 4 question mark emojis, maybe 5. Doesn't really matter. If we're just gonna respond to that comment, you weren't on the planes. Yes, obviously. I mean, I'm not sure who's making this up, unless it's like Jonathan Kraft, not Jonathan Kraft, or it could be Jonathan Kraft, Robert Kraft, Elliot Wolf, Alonzo Highsmith, or Jonathan Kraft. They're making this up, I don't know who had this story. I apologize. I believe it was Andrew Callahan, but I don't really know. They're just going to sit here and make that up. Kind of sounds not great. I'm not talking about Callahan. I'm talking about one of those 4 higher-ups that I just said. Those being Kraft, the 2 Krafts, Jonathan Robert, Highsmith, and Wolf. I don't think that they make that up and tell whoever it was that wrote the article, and I apologize that I'm not crediting you. Maybe it was Mark Daniels. Maybe it was Doug Kyde. I don't remember exactly who it was. I don't think it was Callahan, if I said it was. But anyways, I don't think they just make that up, especially the part about the Arizona game, because everyone on the plane saw that. You, Mrs. Mayo, you were not on the plane. I'm not trying to sound disrespectful or anything like that. Jerod could tell you he didn't do that, but you don't know. Antonio Gibson, and I'm just throwing out a name, has a better understanding of what happened on that plane than you do, because you were not on the plane. And unless there's security camera footage of the plane, which I'm not sure why the hell Jerod Mayo would have that, and I'm not even sure why the hell I'm talking about this right now, but you don't know what's going on. You've just been told that this was a lie, and you don't know better than me. Jerod could have told you, but I don't know. Okay, let's keep going. We've been taking the high road and letting everyone do their thing since Sunday. But playing with someone's name won't be tolerated. I bet the fake stories will stop before the real ones start. ... Eye emojis. So I'm wondering what the real stories are. Even if this fake stuff, even if these stories are fake about how Mayo couldn't discipline, I forgot to get into that, how he wasn't watching film or whatever he was doing, how he's playing cards in the back of the plane after a loss. Even if these stories aren't real, there were still people calling for Jerod's head in week 18 when we didn't know these stories. The guy couldn't handle the media. I talked about this on the last podcast. If Jerod Mayo could handle the media, he would still be the head coach of the Patriots. If he knew how to, exactly. That's pretty much just covered in that sentence. If he didn't go out on a limb, if he didn't go out and say, we're going to start Antonio Gibson this week and then go and start Ramondre Stevenson, if he didn't call his team soft, if he didn't say he was talking to his team through the media, if he didn't talk to his team through the media, maybe just fucking talk to them, okay, and maybe just talk to them, sorry, then yeah, these things, he probably wouldn't be fired, because you go 4-13 in the NFL, it's not great, but still, if there's no off-field distractions like the off-field distractions the Patriots had, then probably remains as the head coach. There was always the Take It Back Monday, whatever they called it, but the Take Back Monday, is that what he called it? But there was always that, and yeah, this will probably be the last time I talk about Jerod Mayo. He was a blimp on the radar for the Patriots, a one-year wonder who wasn't even a one-year wonder, a one-year failure. Mayo, I kind of want to hear like a press conference, him go on a podcast, whatever you want to call it, talking about his tenure with the Patriots, his short-lived, less than a year tenure with your New England Patriots. I want to hear him talk about it a little bit, but in the same sense, I don't really know what would we get out of that and how much truth would be there. But anyways, I kind of just want to hear his thoughts on that, and I doubt he'll do it, at least not in the year 2025. But you never know. He could start his podcast, Jerod Mayo hates Robert Kraft. I don't know. I'm sure he doesn't hate Robert Kraft. But anyways. All right. Okay. Let's transition to head coaching. Well, we were talking about head coaching. Let's transition to who the next Patriots head coach is going to be, because we do not know that yet. We still don't know who the Patriots head coach is going to be. Yeah, we do not know. So the main names going around right now and who the Patriots have interviewed. Maybe we'll talk about the Rooney Rule. Let's talk about the Rooney Rule. So the Patriots kind of made a mockery out of the Rooney Rule. Robert Kraft, they kind of did. They interviewed two guys that are out of jobs, not serious head coaching candidates. Pep Hamilton, a guy who's not well known, unless you're like really deep in the NFL, playing the NFL. He's not very well known. He did a list of the top 25 the top 5 under 25 quarterbacks. Joe Milton's number 5. That's what's been going around. There's not much else I know about Pep Hamilton. Never a head coach before. Maybe an offensive coordinator. I don't really know. Fired. Doesn't have a job. Working on TV. Low-level role. Pep Hamilton, he's an experienced guy, way more experienced than Jerod Mayo. I probably would say he would do a better job than Jerod Mayo coaching this football team. But, yeah, I don't really want him. I think he'd probably be similar to what we got from Jerod Mayo just because he doesn't have the experience, but he'd probably be better. Then you also got Byron Leftwich, a guy that's definitely going to be better than Mayo, but at the same time, not really what I'm looking for. Looking for that, the high end, I guess you could say, head coach, similar to the guys that we'll talk about in a minute. But I'm not looking for a guy that got fired from his role as the offensive coordinator with the Bucs. Another guy that his sole success is with Tom Brady. And, you're the coordinator of Tom Brady. You don't really have to be that good, especially in year 22 and 23, whenever the hell he was there. No, it was 21, 22. Yeah, so 21, 22, 23. Leftwich is Super Bowl champion. Tom Brady, Brady was calling the plays. Anyways, so I don't like either of those guys. I think they make a mockery out of the Rooney Rule. I think instead of doing that, they probably should have scheduled interviews with Aaron Glenn and Brian Flores. Flores openly talks about that he wanted the role. He's not going to get the role. He's not getting interviewed. And Aaron Glenn declined the interview request, so he's also not going to get the role. But yeah, I'm just kind of checking Twitter here to make sure that there's no breaking news about this head coaching thing. But if there is, I'll be ready. So it's going to go to 1-4 guys right now. Ben Johnson, Mike Vrabel, Pep Hamilton, or Byron Leftwich. We kind of just talked about why it's not going to be those two. Kraft kind of brought him in to speed up the Rooney Rule process. I don't like that from Kraft, but if it means you get Mike Vrabel sooner, sure. It's not great. It's not great morally. But you know what? It's okay if you get Mike Vrabel. I think they have to change the rule a little bit. Maybe not change the rule, but I think Kraft should have done it differently. I think that he should have interviewed Flores and Aaron Glenn because those are interviews worth your time, unlike Pep Hamilton and Byron Leftwich. So anyways, let's talk about the two guys, the two big guys. Let's go in order. So the Patriots interviewed Mike Vrabel, former head coach of the Tennessee Titans, on Thursday. Today's Friday, right? So, they interviewed him yesterday on Thursday, January 9th. So, what are my thoughts on Mike Vrabel? Before we get into my thoughts, let's just do a rundown of Mike Vrabel. So, obviously, he comes here over from Pittsburgh in 2001, wins 3 Super Bowls with the team. He was here for a while. I believe he was on that 2007 undefeated team. Leaves, maybe he retired as pitcher. I don't know. I wasn't alive back then. But it is what it is. Won 3 Super Bowls, probably appeared in 4. That's my guess. A veteran, a guy that's known to be a ball buster. he started out his coaching career with Ohio State. This is off the top of the dome, so I believe it was with Ohio State. He went to Houston for a little bit. And then I believe he was hired as the head coach in 2018 with the Titans. No, that can't be right. 2018? Yeah, 2018. He was hired with the Titans in 2018. Marcus Mariota didn't really work out well. Maybe it was 19. I don't know. Anyways, because the Titans made it to the divisional round in 18 or 17. Why did they fire their coach? I don't know. But anyways, it was 18. Okay, anyways. But 2018, he has Matt LaFleur as the offensive coordinator. They beat the Patriots. Wouldn't say solid. They regressed. 19, he starts to incorporate Derrick Henry. Ryan Tannehill plays like a top 5 quarterback for him. He wins Coach of the Year. Derrick Henry, like I said, becomes unbelievable. They go make it to the AFC Championship game. Then you go to 2020. Again, they're competing. I think they get knocked out in the divisional round. 2021, they're the 1 seed. They get knocked out by the Bengals. 22, they kind of fell off a little bit. I don't believe they made the playoffs. And then 23, the full fall off. Vrabel's inducted into this is after they traded A.J. Brown. So, no, they traded him 22. But they kind of fall off at once Ryan Tannehill's production falls off. Will Levis, they draft him. He doesn't really work out. But anyways, he gets fired at the end of last season. This wasn't because of the coaching. This was because he had disagreements with the front office. It started when they traded A.J. Brown and drafted Treylon Burks. And then also his comments when he was here with getting inducted in week 7 with the Patriots. He had some comments, kind of shots against the Titans organization. They obviously didn't like that, so they fired him. Not really a great reason to fire someone. He doesn't get a job last year. Now he's getting interviewed by the Jets and the Patriots and maybe the Raiders. So what do I think of Mike Vrabel? I think that he should be the next Patriots head coach. And after I take a sip of water, I'll tell you why. It's hard doing these solo podcasts. You have to talk a lot, but not to anyone. And you can't stop. Okay, anyways. Let's see. Let me just check. Check. Snap or Twitter, sorry. All right, why Mike Vrabel? Okay. He's the leader. He's going to be that CEO, head coach. What Jerod Mayo tried to be. He failed, obviously. Failed miserably, I would say. But he's going to be that CEO, head coach. He's going to try and be the overlord. Not the overlord, but, he's going to come in. He's going to know what he's talking about. He's going to be very confident. He's going to bust your balls. He's going to also be very smart football-wise. Last year, he goes over to Cleveland. He teaches Kevin Stefanski situational football, and Kevin Stefanski teaches him offense. If you don't know who Kevin Stefanski is, he's the Cleveland Browns head coach. He is a tremendous offensive mind, but apparently he doesn't know situational football. A lot of people don't know situational football that are head coaches. Matt Eberflus, Jerod Mayo. He was fine with situational football, but we didn't really have any situations. I don't know. Was he fun? He wasn't very aggressive. Anyways, Vrabel's one of the best at situational football, so won't have to worry about that too much. If they hire him, of course, because they haven't. But yeah, so that's why I want Vrabel. Next up, we got Ben Johnson, and if they hired Ben Johnson, I wouldn't be too upset. I wouldn't be upset at all, actually. I'd be very happy. This is a guy that's the offensive-minded head coach that you want. Vrabel's defensive-minded head coach, if you don't know that. But he's the offensive guy. He's the tight pants guy, as they call him. He's going to call the plays. He's the Detroit Lions offensive coordinator, who probably have the best offense in the league. He's going to be that guy. Him and Drake May working together is going to work very well. And Drake May is going to easily probably ascend to be a top 5 quarterback if he gets Ben Johnson. It all works out. And hopefully Ben Johnson is able to be a leader like Vrabel is. Vrabel, he offers you that football mindset. He's not going to offer you that. Maybe he'll I don't know. He's not going to really offer you that scheme where he's going to beat you with his brain. He's going to beat you in the game with his brain, but he's not going to come in with a game plan that's going to knock you out. Ben Johnson's a guy. We don't really know about how his situational football intake is. He's been coaching for about 10 years now or so. A little over 10 years, probably 13 years now. Started out with Boston College as like a low-level assistant. Anyways, he's been with the Lions for a few years now, since like 2018. But anyways, we don't know how good his situational football thinking is, but we do know that he is one hell of a play caller, and he's going to give you an advantage on offense. He's going to be able to scheme up plays that are going to make the defense worried. He's going to be able to use Jerod Mayo in a very significant way that is going to make him very good, very lethal to defenses. So what you're getting with Ben Johnson is you're getting a very, very good offense. Your offense is going to go from bottom 10 to probably top 10 in a matter of 2 years maybe. But the uncertainties, like I said, you don't know how good of a leader is, you don't know how good the situational football is, and you don't know how the defense is going to do, which many people would argue was the bigger problem last year, rather than the offense, which has been the bigger problem since probably 2020 when Brady left. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see if they hire Ben Johnson. We'll see if they hire Mike Vrabel. We'll see when they hire them. I don't exactly know when they can hire Ben Johnson. I've been hearing conflicting reports about when they can and when they can't, and what they can do and what they can't do. But if Mike Vrabel gets hired, he can be hired right now. So checking the phone to see if he is hired. He's not hired, but I'm sure he'll be hired soon. Whatever happens, happens. Whoever the Patriots have as their next head coach, we'll see. We'll talk coordinators. We'll talk about the coach. Probably will be with Austin, hopefully, but the immediate reaction will probably just be me alone. And then we'll do more like debriefing with Austin, get my thoughts on that there. I'm not going to wrap this one up quite yet because I do want to talk about some coordinators or just the coordinator that Mike Vrabel would bring with him, and why I think it's actually a good idea to bring back Josh McDaniels. Now, obviously, Josh McDaniels has not had a lot of success in the head coaching world. He's failed twice with the Broncos and the Raiders, but he's come back and he's been a very good offensive coordinator for you. Even so, in his second stint with the Patriots, that he was able to get another head coaching job, even though that other head coaching job was so disastrous. Everyone was talking about how he has changed. And he's not going to try to copy Bill. Of course, he did try to copy Bill again, and it didn't work out, and it flamed out with the Raiders. He was gone out after a year and a half. But yeah, I think bringing back Josh McDaniels as the offensive coordinator is going to be great. It's going to be good for Jerod Mayo. We saw how he is with the dual threat quarterback in Cam Newton. It was good. We saw how he was with Mac Jones. That wasn't very good because they babied him, but they're not going to baby Jerod Mayo. I can guarantee you that. Hopefully, he's not a rookie. So hopefully they don't baby him. He's a second-year quarterback now. He's good. He's experienced. He's played 11 games in the NFL, 12 games in the NFL. So yeah, I want to bring back Josh McDaniels. I think he'll be a perfect fit for this offense. And yeah, I think with him and Vrabel, there's some experienced coaching in the room. If you want to bring in Nick Caley, I'd also kind of be fine with that. You don't know what you're going to get. But Nick Caley could be, and if it hits, he could be gone in 2 years. But I'll take that. Josh McDaniels, if Vrabel is still here in 5 years, which I'm probably pretty confident Mike Vrabel will be here in 5 years unless something terrible happens. I'm honestly, I'm going to go ahead and guarantee Mike Vrabel's not fired next year. But you never know. But I think however long Mike Vrabel's here, Josh McDaniels will be here. I don't think he's really going to screw up too bad. And I don't think there's going to be any coaches that are coming for his job. Speaking of coaches, who's going to be back next year? My thought from this current staff, by the way. My thoughts, maybe Jeremy Springer, but probably not. We'll figure it out. So that'll pretty much wrap this solo edition of the Patriots Real Time Podcast. We'll be back when the Patriots hire their next head coach. We might be back sooner than that this weekend, but I doubt it. Might be back in 5 minutes. Who knows? But probably might not even post this podcast if he gets hired in 20, 30, 40 minutes. But anyways, that's it for the Patriots Real Time Podcast. See you when the Patriots hire Mike Vrabel or Ben Johnson or Liam Cohen or whoever the hell they hire. But follow me on Instagram, Patriots3. Follow Austin Ray. Follow this, YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, Patriots Real Time. And I will see you tomorrow because I have a feeling that Mike Vrabel is getting hired tonight.